Still looking at me.
What it do, Money Gang? It's the multitasker. So, what do we know about Randy Orton? Well, he was the youngest world heavyweight champion, served in Marine Corps as the 13th time champion. His trademark being as the Viper, Apex Predator, RKO, and infamously of his signature RKO that's became a successfully for the internet memes. And trust me, I've seen it a lot. But there are 10 secrets of Randy that doesn't want us or WWE fans to know. And I wonder, how secret are there until we reach to number one? So, one way to find out. So, this is a request from Shadow. Now, I don't own this video. This is from Watch WWE. That's their channel. So, just go over there and just, if you're a WWE fan, just give support to them. And, without further ado, it's time to react.
The second time. And, oh my God! RKO out of nowhere!
RKO out of nowhere.
Randall Keith Orton honestly might find a spot in my personal top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. The dude's got more natural gifts in his pinky than I've been given over the last decade and a half, and I have certain semi-soul-crushing respect for that. Orton's been doing the whole professionally wrestling thing for 18 years now and has cultivated one hell of a career. He's a 13-time world champion, 2-time Royal Rumble winner, former Money in the Bank holder. The dude's worn a lot of hats around this place. Let's take a look at the ones that you never saw. I'm D-Wicked from Watch WWE, and here's 10 things you didn't know about Randy Orton. Number 10, he once broke his own arm. This is a tidbit probably deserving of a top 5 spot, but this very oddly specific little gem came up in another video recently, so in case you caught both of them, I'll get this one out the way first. At Over the Limit 2010, a truly terrible pay-per-view name if I may, Randy Orton took on Edge in what would I wish be the last match these two ever had together. Not only because their WrestleMania match was a pretty big letdown in my opinion, but because ending their ongoing saga with a match where Orton smashed his own arm so hard that the mat he injures himself.
It was
really funny to a psycho like me.
Though.
As he sets up for the RKO, he does his typical slamming to the mat, and yeah, he completely screws up his own arm. The match ends on a double count out about 2 minutes later, and I would like to promise you that was not the plan.
And the Viper is ready to strike. You see, look right there.
He did.
Number 9,
pressed it too
he
hard.
used to be a referee. While it's often said Orton started straight out the gates with the WWE and has only ever worked for one company, he did actually have a short stint when he first started in the promotion called, this is the acronym, so never mind that. He was trained there by the staff as well as his father, who we'll get to on the off chance you don't know him. He only worked the promotion for a month, but he actually held more positions in those 30 days than Orton has in his entire WWE career, as Orton gave refereeing a shot for 4 to 5 matches back down in his developmental days.
In the WWE, Randy Orton. Orton stepped in the one in the park.
Number 8, he's got wrestling legend in his blood. I know this is a very basic piece of info, but I want to keep these videos as friendly to people who just started watching the product yesterday. So if you're new and the man grabbing your attention right now is Mr. Orton, and you think you've heard that name somewhere before, that'd all be thanks to the Cowboy, Bob Orton. The father of Randall Keith was one of the most popular wrestlers of the 70s and 80s, even being big enough to play a key role in the corner of Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper all the way back at the very first WrestleMania. You'll often hear Orton touted as one of the most naturally gifted wrestlers of all time, and this is exactly why, just like being born into the Guerreros, being an Orton is basically keys to the kingdom.
The Undertaker is alive and well. Cowboy Bob and a
Number 7, his finisher is still banned. At least one person heard those words and thought I was talking about the RKO and either got really confused, really concerned, or has seen me be an asshole before and had some level-headed sus. Well done to you. Now, the RKO isn't going anywhere, but one of his old finishers, the punt kick, that hit the chopping block a long time ago and probably isn't coming back anytime soon. The move was probably the single strongest in the whole company, like the company's history. Like when guys got hurt for real and needed to take a month or 6 weeks or whatever off TV, they'd have them get punted by Orton. The sledgehammer isn't even that strong. What? Orton's gone for it a few times, teasing the move against both Triple H and Saudi and Edge on top of that truck, but neither of them connected. We've seen the curb stop return after a ban, an arguably more difficult to stomach move in kayfabe terms, so there's always hope. But as of right now,
okay, so
he's
putt
got the
kick
second most
and
notable banned move in
curb
WWE.
stop were the strongest finishers, and both of them got banned. Unbelievable. And yeah, he did.
Number 6,
give
he
up
almost
with that
got
kick.
kicked out of Evolution. Way back before the star-studded four-piece of Triple H, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Dave Bautista got their start as Evolution, plans for that fourth member slot were very different. Originally, a man by the name of Mark Jindrak was penciled in. Well, no, that's putting it a little bit too lightly. Originally, Mark Jindrak was so in Evolution that, oh, look, here he is being in Evolution. WWE had actually started producing their vignettes before they even finalized the group. And it's entirely due to the friendship between Orton and Jindrak. The boys just instantly clicked and became the tightest of friends.
That was a
Fortunately
story that
for
was
the
on
duo,
the
their friendship
WWE
was a little
Network.
too tight, and they were way more invested in their own conversations and pranks than actually getting work done. Jindrak was so annoying to Triple H after just a single car ride with the two in the back that Trips went to Vince and personally asked him to replace Jindrak. If it wasn't for those Bob Orton jeans, Randy might have gotten that axe too.
It got all the way to the point where they had him wear a black
there,
suit.
there's
We
that
did,
clip.
Like, the Reservoir Dogs,
this
like,
is what I
walk down the
remember
street
when
with
I
the heat
reacted.
coming off the pavement.
Number 5, he's the youngest world champion of all time. I know this list already had a softball entry, but I'm including this one for a good reason. I guarantee you, at least someone watching this has incorrectly worded this feat as Randy Orton is the youngest WWE champion of all time. And that's not true. Orton first won the WWE title at the age of 26. Brock Lesnar first won that belt at the age of 25. Close, but no cigar. People mean to say that Orton is the youngest world champion in WWE history, as that's a distinction he actually does hold. 25 on Lesnar was pretty impressive, but Orton won the World Heavyweight Championship, not WWE title, at just 24, etching him out and putting him on a pedestal that might not ever be beaten. Especially since the World Heavyweight Championship has been dissolved into the WWE title. I get it. I understand why people phrase it like this so much. Number 4, he was sent to a military prison. Given the early start in wrestling, and that last entry especially, some people might be surprised to hear that Orton was in the military at all, let alone causing problems in it. While Randy Orton has a laid-back, who-cares attitude to him these days, it wasn't always like that, and honestly couldn't have been further from the truth. The kid had a temper to him and did not handle authority figures well. After high school, Randy enlisted in the Marine Corps and within a year got handed a bad conduct discharge after going AWOL twice and disobeying an order from a commanding officer. He was tried, subsequently convicted, and ended up staying inside a military prison for 38 days. Number 3, he was kicked off the Marine 3. I will give you 3 guesses, comment section. 3 guesses for Marine 3. 3 guesses as to why people might have been a little bit iffy on the idea of Randy Orton acting as a Marine. I'll give you some hints. Listen, the last entry. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious, the fact a man who openly disrespected the structure of the Marine Corps was going to be starring as the lead role in a movie called The Marine 3 was a little off-putting. Military folk especially saw this as blatant disrespect and a slap to their entire branch's twigs, so they switched it up, and thank God, because now The Miz can make 18,000 Marine movies.
I guess he dodged the bullet for that.
Number 2, he used CM Punk's theme. Randy Orton and CM Punk might have some of the best music in all of WWE, considering both had 2 very distinct songs that both lasted multiple years and were both actually pretty good. Voices is a bit polarizing, but I've come around to it over the years. I know it's not going anywhere, so whatever. Dumb lyrics, fun enough song. The real problem with it was that Orton's original theme was so much better. I still wake up at night to the hey! That was so bad. I still wake up at night to the hey blaring somewhere in my subconscious, but alas, not everything that glitters gold can stay something, Pony Boy. I don't know, Outsiders was a long time ago.
So dawn goes down today. Nothing gold can stay.
Punks were even better in my opinion. While Hay is the best of the four, I'd take This Fire Burns or Cults of Personality over Voices any day. Orton would disagree, as he gave one of those a shot and tried out This Fire Burns back in 2006. Obviously, it didn't stick.
Well, Taz, the only thing that's been going right for Randy Orton over the last week is new music. Kill Switch Engage from an upcoming WWE album.
And number one, his extensive list of ribs. Really don't mean to blue ball you guys at number one, but since YouTube's kind of been losing it over what can and can't be said these days, we can't go into too much detail on Randy Orton's ribs, and to those of you who aren't in on wrestling lingo and are very confused right now, not the body. A rib is also known as a prank, and they go down all the time in WWE, especially backstage. Orton's infamous for them, but like we said earlier, he used to have a temper, and plus he isn't exactly the most saint-like roster member you could pick out of a line, so some of these ribs have been a bit dicey. The two most infamous involve Randy Orton probably almost definitely did it, taking a certain lady's bag behind the scenes and leaving a natural present inside of it. The other, I genuinely don't think I can mention by name, so I'm just gonna leave this one by telling you to Google Randy Orton hand. Yeah.
You don't think you're that good? Now I see it.
And those are 10 things you didn't know about Randy Orton. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications and that bell.
What? Okay, let me just try to see this. Randy just did this, as in speed it up. While this as a kid is just gives out his speech and tries to do the RKO really almost closely to his neck. The little boy's neck. Talk about awkward and a big WTF. Wow, dude. And the fact that he almost, I mean, well, I wouldn't say almost, that he literally actually steal CM Punk's theme. Okay, that was a little bit of a dick move, by the way. Yeah. And earlier, and I just realized that I think that might have been Stacy Keibler that just got RKO. So, you know what? I think it's starting coming back to me. I do remember seeing that clip. So, I guess it's likely to say this is probably the third time that Randy would RKO to any female professional, because remember back in the last year's Royal Rumble that RKO to Nia Jax and did the same thing to Beth Phoenix. So definitely this wasn't the first rodeo. Crazy. That's all the time I have, so I'm just go ahead and just wrap this up and just gonna leave it as it is. But as always, I'll catch y'all in the next video, so peace out everyone and good night.